into the chat box. If you can see and hear me, that would be awesome. Perfect. Hi, I can see and hear. Yes, perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, awesome. So just to let you know that if there's any that, hey, I can see perfect. So if there's any time that you can't see or hear me, just refresh your page. If it's still causing you any issue, just exit and re-enter the link. Okay, and that should be perfect. It should work. So we can begin on that note. We will have some more people struggling in, so that's okay. I want to do our brief intro before we get into this wonderful service that we're going to talk today about. Perfect. Okay, everyone can see. So let me just do one thing. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Chrissy, and I am the head trainer for North America for RefectoCil. So I do a lot of these webinars that you might see every month that we do from CBON. So I do work for a company called CBON Group. We are the master distributorship for beauty products for the beauty industry, and I am their head educator for infection control and for as well RefectoCil. So it's a pleasure to have everyone here and to be able to learn about this wonderful service that RefectoCil has to offer, which is the brow lamination. So just before we do begin with the presentation, I just want to mention that if there's some in here that have not purchased the kit yet, you would need to purchase the kit in order to get your certificate. So after this webinar, consult with Intercosmetics, because today's webinar is done through Intercosmetics. So if you haven't purchased yet a kit, please make sure that after the webinar you consult with Amalia from Intercosmetics, and then you will be able to receive your certificate when she lets me know it's all good. Okay, so that's one thing I wanted just to mention before. I will repeat it at the end as well, just for anybody that didn't make it in just yet. But yeah, perfect. So it's nice to see everyone. We've got a good attendance list today. So what I would suggest is hold your questions till maybe I'm doing the demo, because during the 8 minutes of the solution time, I can come back here to the computer and see all the questions you have. Unfortunately, I'm just doing it all by myself, so it's hard for me to get to the questions. So if you hold off to them until I'm doing the demo and during the solution timing, then it's perfect. I can answer them. Okay. So hello, hello, hello. There's more people coming in. Awesome. This is really good. Okay, so we're going to talk about the brow lamination. So this is the hot new trend. And, you know, if you're already a user of RefectoCil, you're using already the tints, you've already are doing the lash lift, might as well add on more services using RefectoCil and add on the brow lamination. So if you've seen all over social media, this brow trend has boomed crazy because brows and lashes play a special role. They're very important to the look, to enhance our look, to make us look more alert, more fresh, more youthful. So they do help to frame our face. They do help to give that structure to our face. So if we have thin brows or unruly brows, we can give them some life and give them some definition and strength, and the look can look more enhancing. Okay, so let's start talking with this brow lamination. At the beginning of this slide, I put a little bit about RefectoCil, because if someone's new to RefectoCil, it's nice to know a little brief history about them. It's very, very brief. So they are a world leading brand since 1930. So now you know they've been around for over 70 years. So it's a brand that has a great reputation. When I'm at trade shows, all I hear is, yes, I use RefectoCil. I've been using it for 30 years. I'm happy with it. So when you have such good reviews about a brand that's been around that long, that's the reasoning why they've been around so long. So this helps you to see what brand you'd want to venture into and have in your salon or spa to give you those results and support. Okay, so they are RefectoCil today is prominently represented in more than 65 countries, and RefectoCil lash and brow tints have been proven and recognized due to millions of successful applications. And that's as I can vouch for it at trade shows. That's all I hear. Wonderful applications, the services that the professionals are able to do. And even with the social media of our RefectoCil North America, I get to interact with a lot of browistas, a lot of professionals just like yourself. And we get tagged in per day, like 20 times per day on wonderful befores and afters of doing tints, of doing lash lifts, of doing brow lamination. And I always encourage, send us more. I do Monday makeover feature post where I can grab. It's hard to grab everyone's, but I try to post Monday makeovers and use your before and after pictures and give you a shout out. So send us in. You'll never know when you'll get featured. But this shows to me how many hundreds and hundreds of wonderful applications are done like every day around North America and around the globe too. I just don't deal with it, but I just deal with North America and I can see the wonderful results with RefectoCil. Okay, so I just wanted to put that inside there a little bit. And then also I put this slide here for somebody who's really new, once again, at RefectoCil. You can see the whole range. Or maybe some of you who are already using RefectoCil didn't realize that there is such a range of products for RefectoCil. From we have the lift to the curl. If you attend any of my webinars, you'll know the difference with them. If you haven't attended any, we do put them on our website, which is www.refectocileducation.com. So you can watch all the past webinars on all the services that I try to do. We have 8 colors of tints, not just 1 or 2 or 3. We have 8 and a bleaching paste, perfect for the brows. To be able to help unruly like gray brows or just if you want to change the color completely on the brows, you can strip away that color safely. RefectoCil is all about taking care of the hairs on your brows and your lashes because they are different than the hair on your head. It's around your eye area. So it's all about care and taking precautions. So this is a good thing about RefectoCil and so forth. There's so much. There's aftercares, there's boosters, there's care balms, there's styling gels. So even just the artist palettes, like the little rings or the little ones you put on your hand, the palettes, so your hands are free when you're tinting or doing services. It's a nice range. So if you don't know, check with Intercosmetic and you can see their display with RefectoCil products. So now we go back into this trend, the brow lamination. So we know that everybody wants them, but few of us have them. And what is that? These are beautifully defined, full yet natural looking eyebrows without painful treatments or permanent makeup. So that's the plus side as to why brow lamination is taking such a boom, because there are services out there such as brow lamination and not brow lamination, microblading and permanent makeup, but sometimes that's not for everybody. Okay, maybe it's the money, or maybe it's somebody who just can't sit there and go through that more invasive treatment. I know I was model one time for brow microblading, and for me it was a little uncomfortable. I don't do well with needles, so having a blade getting into my skin, I felt the pain a lot more than somebody else that might have. So would I be able to sit through a whole procedure? No. So in that sense, I wasn't a good candidate for microblading. And then when brow lamination came out, I've done it on my brows and I loved it. I had nice, thick, fuller brows. As I get older, I lose a lot of hair on my brows and they're getting very thin. And I've always liked thick brows. So for me, doing this brow lamination has helped to have it for a couple of weeks, thicker brows, and looking the natural way as well. Because sometimes, depending who you get, if you haven't done your research, that microblading can look very blunt and not very natural. So it almost looks like they're painted on. So you have to be very careful and do your research too with who you're going to take on as they're an artist, right? So they have to love doing this microblading and it will show from their credentials, even if you're following them on Instagram and you can see reviews and so forth. So it's a big commitment, okay? So the new brow lamination 10 creates more volume, stability, and fullness without, we said, those painful treatments. The service, the new brow lamination by RefectoCil service, breathes new life into eyebrows and coerces the brow hairs into an ideal shape. So right away, when they're going to leave out of that salon, they're going to have those shapes immediately on their brow, and no need, like they will come back every couple of weeks to do their touch up and so forth, like to redo it. But right away when they leave the salon, they have that nice full feathery look, or whichever the look that they wanted to have. Okay, so those are the service and the trend. Now we go into this practical double use, which is really nice. So far, we don't have a brow lamination kit on its own, but if you're already purchasing a eyelash lift kit or an eyelash curl kit, or you already have these, they are double use, meaning you can use these as well for the brows, because what you would need from there is your bowls, your brushes, and then your solutions, lash perm solution and neutralizer. So that's perfect that you can use this one kit and deal with the lashes and brows. Works just as fast, same as your lash lift. It's 8 and 5 minutes for the solutions. And we'll go through some steps. When we go through the protocols, you'll see when you'll have to lessen the timing on the brows. For the lashes, we don't lessen it. We keep it for that full 8 and 5 minutes. And versatile results for unique styles. What are these unique styles? So you have 3 different ones here that we posted. You have your soap brows, and you might have heard this even before the brow lamination came out, because I believe Benefits Cosmetic had a little kit that's called soap brows, and it actually had like a molding paste to help your brows to be thicker like that. So the soap look, as you can see, is a little bit more of a out of control look, but it's still a classy, like it's still a good look. But the hairs are upwards and some are even against the opposite way. So they're not totally pressed down. So they give this fullness and fluffy look as well. That's why they call them soap brows. Then you have your laminated brows. So your laminated brows is what came out and boomed in the social media. It was that pressed down, shined look where you can see each and every individual hair. So it's very controlled and it's very pressed down. So that's your laminated look. And this look too, you can achieve more with the plastic wrap that you might see people putting on. Especially if you have very unruly brows, you'll need to use that plastic wrap. Then you have fluffy or feathered brows. So this one, I say it's you've taken your laminated and your soapy brow together and you've created a fluffy or feathered brow. So this one, how you're going to maneuver the hairs is by placing. So as you can see, the beginning of the brow up to the bone, the arch is more of that soapy brow. It's very like pushed up and a little bit spread out. So it looks that fluffy look, but then you've got the rest from the arch down that are a little bit more pressed down, a little bit more controlled look, as opposed to the soapy brow, all the hairs are sticking up. So I find that fluffy or feathered brow look is a little bit more the popular, apart from the laminated brows. So I like to do that little fluffy one because I do like to see fullness. So I don't want it completely pressed down and rounded. I want some hairs to stick up so I can get that fullness. Okay, so those are the 3 types of look you can achieve, and that's with how you position the hairs when you are applying the solutions as well. And that's how they will take form. Okay. Okay, so let's go to now our next slide, which is talking about the solution. So if you're already a lash lift user, you already know about our lash perm solutions and our neutralizer. But for those who don't, it's nice to know the ingredients, because there's a variety of brands out there with a little bit of a unique, different active ingredient. So some of them are keratin, and you've got to read up on it, and you've got to follow the manufacturer's label instructions of timings, because you can reverse the process and actually damage the hair with, per se, those keratin treatments. So it's always good to read and educate yourself as well. So putting this information here for you is going to be helpful for you to know what are the ingredients and the solutions, which is collagen and cysteine. And during the service, you're going to provide a nourishing lift with these 2 ingredients. We know that collagen is one of the most commonly occurring structural protein in the human body. And then when you put that along with cysteine, which are amino acids, these are going to work together in the hair development. But at the same time, it's also going to condition, protect during that service, the hairs that you're treating. So this is really good to know that you're using, as I mentioned before, RefectoCil is all about using ingredients, products that are going to be safe, especially when you're using around the eye area. Okay. Then we go into your step-by-step application, which we're going to show it in the demonstration, but it's also good to go through it visually, like seeing it here step by step. So you are going to do the same prep work that you would do on your lashes. You would clean with RefectoCil Micellar Eye Makeup Remover first. And even if they come without any makeup, please make it a habit to follow this step because you've got the environmental factors, you've got pollution, you've got sweat, you've got, if they went to the gym or stuff like that, touching our faces too. So it's very important to do the eye makeup remover, even if they don't have any makeup. It'll be faster if they don't have any makeup. And then also you're going to afterwards use the saline solution to remove any of that skin oils or even any of that residue left from the eye makeup remover because you want to have a clean canvas. You want it to be like so clean that your solutions, your tints, your glues, whatever, even if you're working with the lashes, everything is going to work accordingly. So the saline solution is a very important step. And I myself use the saline solution on everything I do. I do a lash lift, lash curl, brow lamination, brow tint, lash tint. I always wipe with the saline solution because I find even when I'm tinting, I get crisper colors because I have such a clean canvas. So after you've done that, then you're going to take your spoolie. And the nice thing about the new RefectoCil brushes, I'm going to show you, is that they have, I don't know if you can tell, but they have a spoolie at the end of the brush. These are really nice ones. They're black and rose gold. And these spoolies, they are plastic. So they're so nice and gentle. If you're using your disposable mascara spoolies, they're very coarse. And during a brow lamination, because the solution is a lot more onto the hair there, it's more thicker and it's also touching skin, you'll want to be very gentle when you're brushing. So I find these Browista tool brushes to be so awesome. You can clean with soap and water and then spray it with your RTU or your alcohol, and you can reuse it as long as you're doing that. The proper disinfection or sanitization. So you really want to use something soft on the brows when you're brushing them. So you're going to brush the brows. You're going to separate them. You're going to brush through to them, make sure that they're not wet and they're all like separated. After you've done that, you're going to try, the thing is, you're going to try and comb it the desired shape. Yes, the brows, the bonds, the sulfates, they haven't been broken down yet. So it's going to be really hard to put them in the shape that you want, especially if you're dealing with very stubborn brows. But just brush it. Try to maneuver it in that way. And then when you're going to put the solution, so it says to begin to apply the lash perm solution. So step number 1, you're going to squeeze a pea-sized amount, but your pea-sized amount will vary and obviously will be bigger than your lashes solution because you have more hair to work with. So you're going to start applying it on. I like to do like a dabbing, as you can see when I will do the demonstration. But after I put it on, I try to follow how I brushed my hair first, my spoolie, and that's how I'm going to try to apply the solution as well. But I won't do any very hard brushing actions. I'm just dabbing as well because we don't want to irritate the skin and we don't want to irritate the hair. So very gentle even when applying. So once I've applied it, start at the root of the brow to apply it in the same direction as you would brush the brows. Then I can decide if it was somebody's brows that were very unruly, very coarse, I will then take the saran wrap and press it down. Okay. Now, when you're applying the solution, make sure that if you get it on skin, clean it right away with a dry Q-tip. Because it's not meant for skin, they'll start to feel that tingling sensation, and some can turn a little bit red depending on their degree of sensitivity, which makes a very important step prior to starting these services. You have to do a patch test. And it has to be done 48 hours ahead of the service. So it's very, very important that you can call in your customer for a consultation. You sit down with them, you fill the consent form, you go through what the desired look they want to achieve, and then you do the patch test. You put the solution number 1, solution number 2, and if you're tinting, do the tinting as well, mix the color and the oxidant, and you have 3 different areas on the inner forearm or behind the ear, which is a little bit more of a sensitive area. That you can apply the the solution, leave it on for a couple of minutes, wipe it off, send them home, call them in 48 hours. If they've had a very irritation before the 48 hours, they would be calling you and letting you know. But you got to do that courtesy call them, everything good, perfect. You can come in for the treatment. The worst is to get somebody on the bed without a patch test, and during the procedure they are so irritated, some of them won't even speak up because they feel, okay, I'll hold on to it until the service is done, I'll bear through it. That's not how it should be. You're going in for a spa experience. It's still a relaxing treatment. You don't want them to be irritated, and you don't want to be burning them as well. If they're really sensitive, instead of feeling a tingling is fine. But when that tingling starts to burn and intensify, that's not good. And that's why another reason that you should always remove it from the skin. As soon as it touches it when you're applying, take a dry Q-tip and wipe it off. Okay. So you put it on. If you're going to not use a plastic wrap, then it stays on for about 7 or 8 minutes. If you're going to apply a plastic wrap, you cut down that to 5 minutes, as you can see in the red writing. So there is no glue used before the perm solution. Nope, nope. And if I can see your name right, is it Sandra? It's so hard for me to see the names. They're pretty small. But no, you don't have to use the glue. I know there's a lot of other brands out there that use a glue. Sanda. Okay, thank you. No need to. Okay, it's not in the steps, the glue, which is good. Okay, faster service. Okay, so, and less products to replace. You'll be replacing a lot of the solutions though, because brows are bigger. You can do about 12. Depending on the degree of the brows, how thick they are, you can do about 12 out of the solution bottles. So it's less than a lash lift. So after you're perfect. Thank you, Sanda. Thanks. So after you're done your 8 minutes or 5 minutes, 7 or 8 minutes or 5 minutes if you use a plastic wrap, the reason why the timing goes less when you're using the plastic wrap is because you're holding that heat in with the plastic wrap. So it's working faster, and the penetration of the solution is faster as well. But that plastic wrap is also helping to hold those unruly brows straight up into that desired look. Also, you're able to give that more pressed down laminated look if they want that. Okay. So after you've done that, your 5 or 7 or 8 minutes, you're going to remove it, and you're going to, with a clean Q-tip, clean or dry, not wet, in the same direction as when you comb the hair, you're going to remove the solution. Once again, no scrubbing, no rubbing, very soft, gentle movements. You're going to remove it. Then after that, you're going to take back your nice little plastic spoolie. If you don't have one, you can use your disposable mascara ones, but I highly suggest please purchase these. They're so much more gentle. Put those hairs that shifted back into place, because right now what we did with the lash perm is that we broke down the bonds and the keratin, the sulfates in the hair. So you can actually see when after you remove and you brush the hair, you can see how much softer and manageable the hair is, because you've broken down those bonds. And the hair is, like I always say this, when you cook spaghetti, it's hard, but once it goes in the water with the salt, it breaks down and it gets all like wobbly like this. That's the same with your brows and your lashes when you're doing a lash lift. So after some of the hairs might have shifted a little bit, brush them back into the place, because now when you're putting the neutralizer, you're actually giving the shape now. So wherever you've brushed the hair and how you've left it, when you put the neutralizer, that is now shaping it according to one of those 3 looks that your client chose. Okay. Another tip I do is, if I'm working with very, very coarse, unruly brows, I like to go in half mark. If I did the 7 or 8 minutes, I like to go in 3.5 or 4 minutes and brush and make sure the hairs are in that area. And then if I have to apply some more solution, after I apply it, I put more solution and I put back the plastic wrap if I'm using a plastic wrap, or if I'm not, I just continue with my timing. I like to go do that personally myself, just to check to see that the hairs are taking form. Because even if you didn't use a plastic wrap and you couldn't quite tell if the brows were maybe going to give you a hard time, halfway through the mark, if I'm brushing them and some of the hairs still don't want to take form, then I know to introduce the plastic wrap. But then you'd have to be careful the timing. So if it was already on for 4 minutes, and with the plastic wrap, I would only leave it on for another maybe 2 or 3 minutes. It's really hard, right? So it's really good to introduce the plastic wrap from the beginning. But by brushing them through, you can see if they're taking form. Okay. So after you've done that, you put the neutralizer, same way, same direction as the hairs. You've brushed them and how they want to take form, because now with the neutralizer, they're going to take form. If you've got to put the plastic wrap back on, it's fine. But you don't need to cut down the timing. It's only for the lash perm that you cut it down to 5 minutes. Then you remove it, you clean it with a dry Q-tip. You can wipe off with a saline solution, because now you're going to tint, and you're going to have to mix your mixture, apply it on. If you want to also put protection cream around the brows, because they're going to be a little bit more sensitive now. You don't want them to be stained. So put protection cream around the brow, and then you can tint. And you're only leaving the tint on for 3 minutes, because we have processed the hair just like with the lashes. Lashes are 2 minutes, but brows, the hair is a lot more thicker and a lot more hair. You can leave the solution, the tint on for 3 minutes. Then you're going to remove it, clean it, and then you use your spoolie just to reshape it, because you've wiped it. You're just going to put them back, and you'll see that they fall into the direction nice and easily. And then after if you have to trim any hairs, you're going to trim them. If you have to shape, you can shape, do your waxing service. Those are done after you've done the laminating and after you've done the tinting. And here we have these eye care pads. If there's something that RefectoCil sells, you can, during your whole service of this, you can have these on their eyes, and you're giving them a nice eye care treatment. This just gives more quality to your service, okay? And then we have this before and after, how you can see the difference and how you can see how much more thicker the brows are. And even though she had a little bit, I don't know if you can tell, she had a little bit of a gap right here. It could be from a scar or so. It got filled in much nicer, okay? And it was able to fill that gap space. And then we go into your styling gel. So at the end, so when you're finished everything, add the styling gel, because this is an aftercare treatment for your lashes, for your brows, and it's going to give hydration, protection, and care to the brows. It's also a great retail item for you to sell to your client to start using it at home as well, because after a couple of weeks, the brow lamination doesn't last as long as a lash lift, because it's more surface, the brows, there's more done to them, there's more touch, we touch them more, we scrub them in the shower more, they get sweat more, so it doesn't last as long. So I find with myself, because my brows are a little bit coarse and unruly, after 3 weeks the hairs start to fall down, so I use a styling gel to still kind of keep them up, but at the same time I'm hydrating, I'm protecting, I'm giving a nice gloss to my brows, and I'm also trying to seal in the service to last a little bit longer if you were using it prior to 3 weeks. So it's a great, great, great product. And also, I didn't put a slide of this in here. I don't know if you've ever sat in any of my other webinars where we teach now to give a nice little massage around the eye area, the bones, the occipital bones here, the temples, the forehead. Give a nice little massage. We have some techniques. If you go to our website, our RefectoCil Education, and watch any of the other webinars I've done on lash lift, or you can see those tips. Some of them are tapotement, some of them are like drainage type of movements, and you just do it for a minute or two, and your client is going to have the best experience ever. And because nobody does that right now, gives a massage after a lash lift or lash tint or brow lift or tint. Nobody does that. So set yourself apart differently, but give that nice quality to your client, because once again, we want to give them that spa experience, right? And then that they're coming back and also referring other people to come back, because they're like, look what I experienced just for a lash lift or a brow tint. Look, they gave me a nice little massage afterwards. Then we have benefits for the salon. So a brow lift is a perfect way to get those disruptive and stubborn eyebrow hairs into tip-top shape. You can cover any gaps, and you can give that magic effect of full dense brows. So this is the benefit for the salon, as well as generating valuable extra revenue and be able to have that opportunity to increase their customer loyalty. Okay, and now you have much more services to offer with the RefectoCil, and even adding on. These are amazing add-on services. You're doing a facial, well, you can do a brow lamination during the mask time and do an add-on. If they just came for a waxing, well, would you like to have a little bit of a thicker brow while we're shaping as well? You can add on a brow lamination. Okay. So, and then benefits for customers. Well, the laminating brows has an immediate effect on the density and shape of the eyebrows. They know right away, as I said, as they're walking out the door, they have fuller looking and denser eyebrows, but the natural way. And then when you're permanent, but you're coming back for treatment, you're shaping the hairs. Gaps can be perfectly filled without painful treatments such as microblading or permanent eye makeup. And as we mentioned, repetitive, it's especially suitable for bushy, stubborn hair. I will try and do a webinar in the new year. I am bringing this brow lamination to assist male clienteles as well. So if you have a male clientele that has very unruly eyebrows, maybe they have even like curls into their brows, you can relax them with this brow lamination look. So not necessarily having to give them a brow laminated press down look or fluffy look, but you can soften that hair and then coerce it, place it in the place that you want it to rest with the rest of his brows, with the man's brows. So it could be an amazing male service as well. Okay. Then reason to believe, well, as we mentioned, RefectoCil has been around for decades, over 70 years, and they have become an expertise leading brand leader in these brown lash styling services. So it's making it its market leader in the sector. And because they recognize that the brow lamination trend has become very booming and very important to a person, they found a solution to use your components from your from your lash lift or curl kit, which are you're using your lash perm and your neutralizer solutions. And then you're able to, as we mentioned, a practical double use. Okay, so that's perfect. So that was our presentation. I do have here our thank you, as well as follow us on RefectoCil North America. I have my account as well, Broista by RefectoCil. Like our Facebook page, and then that's the website, refectocileducation.com. I am trying to take some time to revamp it to make it more user friendly. Sorry, for everyone, and maybe have some PDF files as well. And if you have any questions, education@CBN Group, you can reach to me and I can answer any of your questions. So let me just see right now. Hi, do we wax shape after lamination or before? After. So you will you will do all your styling, your waxing afterwards. So you start first with your brow lamination, then you start your tint, and then you're going to apply the waxing, the shaping. Okay, just like how you would do before if you were doing a brow tinting. It's always tinting first and then waxing. You never want to start off with waxing because the skin, you're going to have open pores. And when that solution touches those open pores, they're going to be so much irritated and it's going to burn. So the shaping is done afterwards. Okay. The rep's email is in here as well. I guess, did they type it in before? The rep's email? I'm not quite sure. Is it which rep you were talking about? Diane, Erica, sorry. Yeah, did they place it? Did they put it in there somewhere, the email? Um, so it's not on my page here, Erica, the rep's email, but we could give it to you afterwards. I don't know who is your rep, but I set this up with Amalia, but we can get you any contacts that you need from Intercosmetics. We don't use the fixed solution then. You do use the neutralizer. You're using both. So remember in the steps, they were your step number 1 was 7 or 8 minutes was your lash perm. And then step number 2 for 5 minutes was your neutralizer. So you are using the neutralizer to fix and put into place those hairs according to the shape that you've brushed them. Okay. How much can you charge? So we usually say charging the same as you would charge a lash lift. So between $70 to $90 would just be a lift. And then about 100 to 190 to 100 could be with the tint. And then this is suggested, but up to $125, 125 to 150 can be for the complete service. So depending on what you charge separately, then you can create a combo pricing. I know some people have gone to up to 190 for everything, for a lash lift, a lash tint, sorry, a brow lift, a brow tint, and a brow styling, which is your waxing or your shaping. They've gone up to 190. Depending on your demographics, where you're located, sometimes you can't go that high. So I would keep it between the like a 150 as a max mark for everything to do all three of those services. Can you link the education page, please? The education page is right here. Do you see this slide here where it says www.refectocileducation.com? That's the website. And that's the one I'm going to try and work on and make it a little bit more user-friendly and then have some, protocols and stuff like that. But all our webinars are on there. And we also have short mini video clips that you can download and also use in your salon or so to advertise the service. The spoolie is available at Enter Cosmetics. I have to check, Sanda. I have to check and see if they brought it in. We've had it for a little bit, for a while, so I'm hoping they have it. I can message that to Amalia and see. I don't have a pen with me, but I can message that to Amalia and then maybe call in. If you guys have requests that you want to see these tools, they don't have them. If you call them and let them know, they will for sure find that it's an interest to bring in and sell. I love these spoolies. It comes with two of them. One is a wider one, so it's good for the brows, and the other one's a more narrow one, which is good for lashes. And it comes in a nice little zipper bag with two bowls. So they're really nice. How long do you suggest for time for the service starting out? Oh, how long does it last? Let me just not mix. There's many more questions before. Does Intercosmetics sell your full product line? They should. They're pretty good at carrying it all. So just double check with them, and any products that are missing could be that they're out of stock, due to COVID and stuff like that. But check with them and ask them and request, because if they start seeing all these requests, then they will bring it in for you guys. Okay. So how long does it last? As I mentioned, it doesn't last more than 3 weeks, I've found. I guess if the brows are a little bit more softer or thinner, they could go up to a month. But I find that for myself, because I have thick and unruly brows, in 3 weeks, I'm starting to get that kink where some of them want to stick up and some of them don't. But I always wait until the 4th week mark to redo it again. I don't want to over process. So I wait till the 4th, and that's why I use a styling gel. I use a styling gel in between so that until the fourth week, I can still look like it's okay. I don't have to over process. Okay, so just always let your customer know that it won't last as long, because as I mentioned, it's more topical. It's there. It's what's the word called? We wash. We're more abrasive. We're sweat. It's more touched, or it's more in the surface there. Okay. How long do you suggest for the time of the service? So it should take you about, by prep work and then tinting and then doing the styling, I would say book them in for about 45 minutes. Because if you take 13 or 12 minutes prep time, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, it's almost about 25 minutes to 30 minutes just on its own, to about 25 to 30, depending on your speed. And then if you're going to shape afterwards, so giving them that 45 minutes is good. And if you get faster, then you cut down the time, right? How long will it last? We've already mentioned that. Difference with lash lift and perm kits. So the lash lift and the curl kit are different, as in the lash lift, the lashes are going straight up, so you're getting an L shape, so it's adding length. The lash curl brings their lashes to a C curl, so it rounds them in, so you don't really have length, but you have shape. So I find the curl works really good on male clientele if their lashes shoot straight down and you want to give some kind of freshness to their look. They don't look so tired or maybe aged. Curl is really good. Myself, my lashes are really, really long. If I do a lift, I just don't really want them to be sticking up to my brows, so I would do a curl. Okay. Will you have a webinar for lash lift? If purchased, we'll do brows and lash lift. Sorry, will you have a webinar for lash lift? We already had a webinar for lash lift, and it's on that www.education.com that you can reference to. With Enter Cosmetics, I'm not quite sure. If you feel that it's something you want to see, bring it out to Amalia at Enter Cosmetics. And if it's something that we're having, we want to do a private one like this again, she'll let me know. But so far, we have one on our website. Also, after how long they can have the next treatment? I say 4 weeks, not 3 weeks. In 3 weeks, the brows start to fall down a little bit, like start to lose their shape, and some of them are shaped, some of them are not. So I like to wait 4 weeks and after. I don't like to do anything before a month because then you're over processing. Also, the more often they do it, the more the hair starts to take, and then for sure that will even help it last longer too. Okay, so try not to over process. So I'm going to call my model in. I know there's some more questions being asked. I'm going to call my model and get her in, prep into the bed because I have to switch the camera view. So keep try to, I don't want to be able to miss questions. So maybe if you put a hold on the questions, then when I'm doing the solution, I can answer. And don't miss anybody's because when a lot of them get asked, I kind of miss them up in the thread. So let me go get my model. Give me 1 second. I was like, because we were just on and up we were just editing. So okay. So I'm going to switch off the camera and switch it to a bird's eye view so you can see everything I'm doing. So just give me 1 second. Okay, really, you can. I took the camera off so you can leave. Okay, I'm gonna also prep myself too with my mask and gloves. Oh, it's chilly in here. Is it? Yeah. Uh-oh, I don't have a blanket. I should. Oh, maybe a towel. Oh, let me just find the.
Do you not find it chilly?
Did you say what?
Do you not find it chilly?
No, I think it's okay. Talking a lot, but I don't know if you want to put this blanket on top. I don't know if it's going to help you. Then
Whatever.
you sure? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just my legs.
I'm gonna bring next one. Goes on the bed. Just give us 1 second. I'm gonna prep. Please, thank you. Okay. I will be answering the questions, so don't worry. I just want to be able to prep our camera. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so that's not in. I gotta zoom it in. You're good. Just stay. I'll have to position it better. Just give me 1 second. I have to open up the app to move around the camera. Are some people not good candidates? I'm trying to multitask. You can't. Oh, thank you, Lisa. If the brows are extremely thin, like there's hardly any brows, and there's a lot of gaps. There's a lot of gap. No, because it's going to be hard to cover those gaps with whatever hair they had. But my model today, I like to use models that are, if you see on social media, a lot of them are thick brows, and we already know it's going to work on those brows because there's hair. But how about the brows that they're thinner, they have some little gap, but they can't do the microblading? Let's help those clients out. So I like to use some models sometimes that are like thinner in the brows, so you can see the difference. That's what we'll do today. Let me get you to so you might have to go. Oh, sorry, hit your head. Hold on. Oh, that might be good. Can everybody see the? I will make it full view as well. Just give me 1 second. Can everybody see that? Okay. Okay, let me just see quickly some questions I might have missed. Okay, everybody can see that? Yeah, she's in view, she's good. In the brows you can see, perfect. Can we talk about the candidate? I was in your class last year for the lash lift. I still have the same kit. I'm replacing all the solution. Does this count for the certificate? If you're replacing the solutions and you're gonna buy from Amelia, just let her know. I can't make the call for that. It's through Intercosmetics. So just let them know exactly what you just told me, Sanda, that you're going to be replacing everything and making a purchase with them. So if you're going to be making a purchase with them, let Amalia know, and then she can approve it or not, okay? And then she'll let me know. So if you can call her after this, that would be awesome. If you can call her after the webinar. Once the product is open, is there any expiring shelf? Yes, so the Lash Form solution and the neutralizer expire 2 months after opening. So I like to date them with a Sharpie because 2 months can come by really quick, okay? So get your Sharpie and date the date you open it, because then 2 months, if you're using it and you're doing a full service and it doesn't work, it's a waste of the time, right? So, okay, are there any reasons why certain people or skin types can't have the service done? Can people who have previously done microblading have the service done? If they've done microblading and it's been past a year, because it's after their touch-up as well, yes, you can do it. If they're not going in for a touch-up because they just don't want to go back again and they just want to get microblading, you have to make sure that maybe about 2 months or so have passed, because there is a healing time with microblading that they give you an ointment, a solution for antibiotic, right, that you put on because you do scab, because you do have cuts in your skin. So I would wait until that's healed, and that usually could be a month or plus, okay? Any other skin conditions? If they're very sensitive, this is why your patch test will help. If they're taking medication for hair loss or so forth, that can create sensitivity to the skin. We're not doctors, so we don't know everything, that contraindication. So it's very good to ask your customer if they're taking medication, what it's for, so you can kind of be alert that if it's something for their skin or something, they might get some sensitivity. Also, it's always best to ask their physician. So that's why when you get this person coming in 48 hours before, it helps you to do that patch test. It helps you to get to understand your client's history with anything, medication, if they're sick, and then it gives them time to ask their physician, okay? In case they want to do microblading later on, how long they need to wait? If they want to do it after 4 weeks, that's fine. If they want to do it after a month of a brow lift and they want to go get a microblading, they're fine. There shouldn't be any contraindications with that. But then the microbladers will also go through that with the client. Give me 1 second. Okay, so we're going to start our prep work, and I'm going to try and answer questions during the solution time. I'll come back to the screen and I'll answer any further questions. So I'm going to get go now to doing her prep work. So everybody can still see okay, right? So let me just, let me move you out a little bit to the, oops, wrong side. Okay, perfect. So let me get my mask on And let me get my gloves on. And we can prep. Okay, so I've got my eye makeup remover. As we said, it's a must, even if they don't have any makeup on. Okay, so we have our wonderful eye makeup remover. Let's bring it over here. It's really hard to show. There we go. Okay. It's got lash strengthening properties, but I say hair strengthening properties. It's if you've done even a bleach on the brows, wipe it off with this. It's got a bunch of amino acids that are going to help to hydrate and condition the hairs. So it's a really good eye makeup remover. So I'm going to clean her brows. So first step. And I think it might be a little bit hard to see on the camera, but there are some hairs that are going to be a little bit stubborn. So I can show you as well using the saran wrap, the plastic wrap. Okay. So now I'm going to grab my saline solution. Very important step. This way. There we go. Okay. And we're going to do the cleaning process as well. So same, I try to clean it as well in the directions I want the hairs to go. Just so that you're going on the same movements, the hair kind of learns to follow that place, that direction. Perfect. So we're prepped, we're all ready, but remember the spoolie part. So I'm gonna grab my nice plastic spoolie. Really hard, where are we? Here we go. Okay, sorry, it's really hard too. And the other end has the brush. Okay, so that's the more narrow one. And then the other one that I was showing was the more wider one. Okay, perfect. So I like to use a wider one for the brows. So we're going to brush them. Once again, these hairs here are being very unruly, so they're not going to want to form, but at least you're trying to brush them. You're trying to coerce them on that side. You're separating them as well. Perfect. So after you've done that, so you can see some of them that have already tried to stay there, but when you break down the bonds, these are going to be more relaxed. Okay. Perfect. So now I'm going to grab my bowl number 1 and my solution number 1. And if it's somebody that's new that hasn't used this, this is what the bottles look like. So that's step number 1. It's the lash perm. Sorry, it's trying to. So this is going to break down the bonds, the keratins, the sulfate, just to give it more of a workable, you're able to maneuver the hairs easily, okay? And then reshape them. So I'm going to squeeze my mouth. Obviously, I don't have to use that much product because her brow is a little bit thinner. So your piece size, as I mentioned, does vary. I like to mix in the solution. I just like to mix it a little bit, spread it, and then I'd like to take a little ball on the tip of my brush, and I'm going to start applying them, okay? So I'm going to be, as I said, gentle. You can do the dabbing and a little bit of the rubbing upwards, but try not to be abrasive, okay? Now, people have asked me, can they put skin protection cream on the skin so that if it touches, but the skin protection cream will get mixed with the solution, especially when you're going to put the saran wrap. So right now, as you can see, what I would do is I would grab a Q-tip. Oops. I would wipe it, and I can continue still. That way it's not lingering on her skin too long and causing any irritation, okay? Because even when I first used it, I felt that tingling. Remember, this was for lashes before, so there was it wasn't touching any skin. So as I got used to it, the tingling was less. Tingling is okay. If they feel a tingling effect, that's fine. If it starts to burn and intensify, that's not good. That's why the patch test, you can know this ahead of time for that client, okay? But right away, I go and I wipe it off, okay? And then we can do the other side. So if you want to start your timing now, you can start it now. I start it after I complete the second brow, and then I know when to remove the second one after the timer went off for the first one. Okay, so it depends. You maneuver, you do the timing how you wish works for you. And I'm being quite generous with the solution because I just want it to penetrate through. And even when I'm applying the solution, I'm trying to keep, so with hers, I'm trying to do the fluffy, so it's sticking up here, and then you can maneuver the sides to being more laminated. Once again, touches the skin. Wipe that off. Okay, so if I wasn't going to use a wrap and I started my timing of 8 minutes, during 4 minutes, I would go back in, brush them, and then apply any more solution where I brushed it and it might have came off. Perfect. So I will show the plastic wrap. It's pretty easy. I have some with me. So I will start the timer though. Oops. I will start my timer and then I'm going to put the plastic wrap. Just give me 1 second. Let me just start the timer. So I'm going to put 5 minutes, okay? Because we're putting the plastic wrap. I'm going to open some. Perfect, and I'm just going to take it and press it nice and taut, nice and tight. Okay. So now you can see that if you have protection cream, that would all get mixed up together with your solution and then potentially can become a barrier to the solution getting into the brows, okay? So now that we have it on for another 4 minutes, let's see if there's any questions. If you want to ask me questions, perfect. I've got 4 minutes to answer some. Was I able to answer the other ones okay? Everybody was okay with the other ones? With your other questions, were you satisfied? Let me know. If you're not, I can try and re-explain. It's a pretty quick, fast service. It's enjoyable. I do love doing brow laminations. I love doing it on myself. I just love seeing the changes, the before and afters of them. And especially I love doing them on thinner brows because it also shocks the clients as well, because they're like, oh, my brows can do this. My brows can look this much thicker. Oh, I can cover some of these gaps. Like they're shocked too that their brows can do this. And once again, like if you charged about even $90 for the one service of just a brow lift, your kit costs you $150. Can't remember how much, but maybe about $150 for the lash lift. Already into treatments, you've made your kit back, and then you have the revenue back of your 9 more treatments. So it's a good you get good revenue. I haven't calculated yet for brow lamination because we usually say you can make over 1,000 in revenue for a lash lift. So it's good to check to see for the brow lift. I've got to get onto that and figure out. But everybody's good with the questions. Are there more questions? Oh, maybe I'm not sliding down and people are asking questions. Oh, 1 second. There we go. There are some questions. I missed those. Flip the screen. Somebody was having a hard time with the, are gloves required or this is for COVID? In general, when you're in the spa, in the aesthetic field, when you're doing pedicures, waxing, you know, you should be wearing gloves because you could come in contact with bodily fluids and blood. So it was very mandatory. But now because of COVID, it's essential to use gloves on anything you do on your client, except for facials. That'd be really hard. So I don't know what they do for that yet, but you'd have to wash your hands vigorously, properly, and then sanitize them. And then anything you touch, you should have a sanitizer with you. So even if you grabbed your bottle, all your bottles, all your facial stuff should be sanitized anyways, disinfected, so that when you're touching them, it's okay without gloves. It's a little tricky, but you should be wearing them. If you're doing these lash and brow services, yes, please wear your gloves. Do you use a pea size of solution for both? Yes, for both. If it was just for one, you would waste a lot of product. For both. Sometimes you might have to go back and touch up because you ran out of solution and your pea size, you didn't gauge it properly, but it's for both, your pea size. I was able to use the full amount that I squeezed properly and even go back in and touch up areas that I felt were a little bit less solution, so that was good. I gauged it properly. If ever the burning sensation doesn't stop, what can we put in the skin? I always have a cool compress ready, or like on my bottled water, like or bowl if you have with cool water, and I always I take a cotton round, I put it in the water, squeeze it out, and then place it onto the skin area. But because I'm wiping it off right away, they don't have that time for it to even start to burn, because I'm taking it right off the skin. But if you did do a patch test and that person was allergic, you would immediately need to take it off and then put a cool compress on there, in hopes that they didn't have any medication that might have made it turn out really bad, and they might have to go seek their physician if it became, like, you can risk to scar somebody or like burn their skin through if you're not cautious, and if you haven't asked them if they're taking any medication and what it's for. So that's why the patch test on the inner forearm or behind the ear is so much more safer, because it's not on the face, and you can distinguish if that customer is allergic, okay? Can it be done on someone using retinol? No. Anybody that's using HPs or those retinols, they have to do this service when they are done completely from their treatment. And you have to wait like a month after they're done their treatment. So, because the skin is still sensitive. So retinol, HPs, you know, any of those acne treatments, you have to be careful and not do it until they're done with their treatments. Do you mix anything with the perm solution before application? Nope, it's just a perm solution on its own. Nothing's mixed in with it. I just stir it. After I squeeze my pea size amount, I like to stir it. So our time's up. We're going to remove it. I like to just stir it inside to blend it nicely, and then I apply it. Can you put aloe vera? Yeah, if you have an aloe vera by you, like with you all the time, you know, when you wax too, you can use aloe vera afterwards to soothe that sensitivity. You can do that as well. I put the cool compress, and if that helps, that's so much better, because maybe some people might be allergic to some ingredients in your aloe vera if it's not all natural. So be very careful with that as well. Give me 1 second, I'm going to remove it. So as I mentioned, during that 5 minutes too, you could have went in that timing of 2.5 minutes. You could remove the wrap. Okay, you can have another one ready, cut, or you can use the same one. I don't like to use the same one because it's all spread out. But I would have went back in and I would have brushed. This is what I meant. Go back in. See this area here? She had 3 hairs that were sticking and didn't want to maneuver, and now they're maneuvering. So I know, see, easy. I'm not even putting any pressure, and they're taking to form. So the brow, the saran wrap truly does help with that. Okay, she does still have like 1 or 2 short ones here that if I wanted to, be very careful, because I know I've done hers before. I can put a little bit more in that area, just a little bit, and while removing the other side. So for example, I see right here, she has, just right here, she has some hairs that are being stubborn. I can just leave that there. And as I'm removing the other side, that can work in that area. and then I can go back and remove it. So I'm going to brush the other side as well, so we can see how it took. Once again, the hairs are taking really well because of that plastic wrap. And once again, I'm being very gentle. Okay, very gentle. And I'm brushing them in that direction that I want them to go. Okay, so now I know I can take it off. This is my test, just to see that they took. And now, as you're doing it with the Q-tip, do it in the same direction as well, okay? You don't want to disrupt those hairs in the position that you wanted them. Okay, nice and clean. Then I make sure my Q-tip doesn't look like it has any more solution on it. Okay, so that's really good. Sorry. And now I can do the same thing on the other side. Also very good to ask your client, how are they feeling? Rula, how are you feeling today?
Good.
Good, good. So how, the skin is okay?
Skin's good.
Perfect. So always check in with your client too. Even if you've already done them, in my second time doing Rula's brows, I will still like to inquire because you never know. Perfect. So can you already tell how they're taking form? You can already see, right? My Q-tip is dry. So let's see, when you use a wrap, do you still do, nope, you do 5 minutes when you use a wrap. Because remember, the wrap, especially with Rula, because she has like small, less brows, you don't want to leave it the full 8 minutes. But the rule is when you're using a plastic wrap, because you're adding heat much more, it's enclosed, it's occlusive, like it's in, and it's also making the solution penetrate faster. You don't need that full 8 minutes, okay? Because you can be over processing. So 5 minutes if you're using a plastic wrap. Can they wash face or swim after application or need to wait? No, water is okay, but I wouldn't say for a swim if they're going into chlorinated. I wouldn't. I would wait like 24 hours for that. Water is okay if they're going to wash their face, but try to avoid putting any brow makeup on for like 3 hours and anything oils for 24 hours. So even if you're putting any brow makeup on, if it's going to be waterproof, you're gonna have to use something oily to remove it, and that way you're gonna also like break down the surface because it needs that 24 hours before you can use an oil. And what if someone has blonde hairs and very few? Can you still do it? I would, if you can see them when you're doing it, sure, do it, because after when you tint it, you'll see the full view. So if they have brow hairs, but you want to make them look thicker and then tinted, yeah, you can do it. Just make sure you see where you're placing the solution. Maybe you might have to use a magnifying glass to see those hairs. No water or solution during the removal. No water, dry Q-tip. It's a dry Q-tip that I removed it. And now I'm going to go to step number 2. Now for step number 2, I'm not going to use the plastic wrap because I already know the hairs are into that place. So I don't need that plastic wrap. All I need to do is apply the neutralizer the same direction as those brows are. So this is our neutralizer. So it will say step number 2. Neutralizer, sorry, it's getting blurry. Trying to focus on 2 things. Okay, so after I've done that, now I want to place it. So I have my pea size amount and I like to stir it a little bit. And then I'm going to do the same thing. This is now going to form the brows and it's going to keep those hairs to stay like that. So it's putting them into the shape. So follow the way the outline of how you want the brows this hairs to stay. Follow that. Don't start going against the hairs and also being very gentle. Just gonna use my brow. Okay. And this will be 5 minutes. This always stays 5 minutes, okay? So I'm just trying to make sure I'm following the shape that I want. Perfect. We do the other side. And then you start the timing. Once again, you start the timing how you wish to do the timing. Is it before or after you applied both brows, or is it just on the first, when you applied the first brow, you start your timing? You'll see what works for you. Perfect. So let's just do this. And I'm just going to take the Q-tip again and just clean that area that touched the skin. The neutralizer is pretty good. It doesn't cause any irritation, but still, you don't want it on the skin. Perfect. Okay, so we leave that for the 5 minutes. If you felt and you saw that, okay, there's some of the hair area seemed like it was missing a little bit of the neutralizer, just grab a little bit more, put some in your bowl. Like for example, I feel like I want to put some more here. Your timer already started, which is fine. You're just doing a little touch up. And I'm being pretty gentle. Perfect. Okay. Awesome. So I'm going to come and see if there's any questions. Let me just clean my brush to be able to use it for the tinting. And I'll come and see what other questions we have. Okay. So let's see. No water kit. Do you have an aftercare list? Is one in the kit? There's no aftercare list in the kit. I can work on if there's something that we want to. I can speak with the manufacturer, because basically the only aftercare would be just the styling gel that they can buy and use it every day in the morning. But and then just water is fine to use, and just not using the oils in 24 hours or mascara in 3 hours. So I can see if they will create a nice little aftercare card that can go into the kits, but we can't expect anything sooner because of COVID and stuff. They're a little bit delayed back at the manufacturer, but for sure I will throw that out there. Are you using the same brush for product 1 and 2, or do you get? No, you get you get 2 brushes of the Browista tools, but one of them is a wider brush that's good for the brows, and the other one is a narrower brush. So I like to get 2 sets of the Browista tools. So I have 2 of the wider ones and 2 of the pointier, because you don't want to intermix, right? So you need the 2 wider ones to work the brows. The one that's more narrow, it's really hard to apply on the brows, a lot more product. So always have 2 sets. And then you have to clean them. So no mixing, because you have a bowl number 1, you have a bowl number 2, you have a brush number 1, and brush number 2 that come into the kit anyways. But I like to use the Browista ones, the black ones, and the gold ones, because they're longer and I have better control. What would you have done different to do soapy? All my brows, I would have stuck them upwards for the soapy and against the opposite direction. I can't do it now, but I'll show you, like me moving. So basically, all these, see how these brows are being more laminated? So I'm doing the fluffy and then more laminated. With the soapy, they would have been all up, 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 up. And then as I'm reaching here, up, but against the opposite direction. So that's how you would did that. Does that make sense? Yeah, right now I have, and if it was laminated, even these ones would have been a little bit more rounded. But because she doesn't have enough length, doing the fluffy gives that fuller look for her. So you can play around for your client, the look, depending what would be suitable for them to frame their face. Is there a strong smell? Just the what do you call it? The lash perm will have that like perm smell, but it dissipates in like 8 seconds. It's gone. You don't smell it. There's some products out there that the room still smells even an hour or 2 later, and it's not good, right? And then neutralizer doesn't really have a smell. It's a soft gentle smell. Where will this webinar be posted for refreshing for us? So this one, you're going to get a link sent to you. And after you get a link right after, you get the link sent to you, so save it, or if you don't save it on time, the recording, before it gets put out of our database, and I will download it and send the link to Intercosmetics, but you could always ask me if somehow the link didn't work for you or so forth. I will have the video saved on our Dropbox, okay? But you will get, after this is over, the recording of it. The sun to make it fade, sun can make the tint, like the sun can make the hair color fade, but the sun exposure could be like sweat and stuff that can make the service not last as long as well, right? But we do tend to touch our brows a lot as well, so that's another reason why. Do we have a card? No, but if you wish to have the looks, they are our pictures though. I could create a postcard type of card with the looks, and we could have that as marketing material for you guys to show your cards. It's not a bad idea. I will write that down too. I don't have a pen, but I will suggest that we do have a card that suggests these 3 looks and how to maneuver your brush when it comes to these 3 looks. Yes, no, it's a good idea. It's a good. How many weeks before booking again? Okay, lots of questions. I have to remove the solution, but I have this kit at my spa and I work already, so I didn't purchase the kit. What? You got to speak to Amalia. Is it your name, Taylor? I can't make that call once again because that's what the guidelines were for this webinar. You got to purchase the kit and you get to do the free education and get a certificate. So you got to speak to Intercosmetics on that, okay? How many weeks before booking again? So I say 4. So sell them that styling gel so they can use it in between before they come for their appointment, so you're not over processing. Okay, yes, and we will try to get that card for you. I think your name is Natalie, or I can't see, the names are so tiny. Let me remove the solution. Dry Q-tip. Once again, dry, dry, dry. And try to do nice, softer, gentle. Okay, so we remove that. You could do a nice little brush through again because we're going to apply the tint. Okay. And after the tint is done, I'll just tweeze this one little hair here that's annoying me. Even when you're like brushing, you can feel that the hairs are more movable, maneuverable, like you can style them in the direction. This is a good way even to relax unruly brows. That's why I say it's really good for male clientele as well. Perfect, so I'm going to brush that as well. And then I want to mix my tint. Okay, so let me mix the tint. I have my These are the palettes I was talking about that fit on your hand. So your hands are free, and it's got the line in it to see your 2 centimeters. So of how much tint you should apply. But for Rula's brows, I'm going to do 1 centimeter, not 2. And I'm going to take the natural brown and the graphite equal parts. So I'm just going to put a little bit of the natural brown. And then the graphite to give it a nice cooler look. So I've only done 1 centimeter because I don't want too much wastage. So equal parts of graphite and natural brown. And I'm going to take my Oxen cream. So usually if you use 2 centimeters, it is 15 drops of the oxygen cream or 10 drops of the oxygen liquid. But because I only use 1 centimeter, I'm only going to do 8 drops. I'm going to cut it in half. I can't really do 7.5. I'm going to give it a good mix. Okay, I'm going to give it a nice mix till it gets nice and creamy. So you'll see it starts to get a nice creamy texture. And I know I'm good. I know I put the appropriate amount of oxidant. Okay, and now I'm going to apply it. And remember, it's only 3 minutes. It takes really quick. And try to follow that shape as well, because I can always clean it after. I could always just take my Q-tip once again and clean. Do the other side. Make sure you get those tips as well. And once again, I can do the cleaning. Clean it. Okay, and that will stay on for 3 minutes. Well, now the other brow will stay only for 2 minutes because it's been on already. Oops. I need to get my charger. My computer's about to die. Shoot. Okay, so give me 2 minutes. I'm going to be able to answer your question. Just give me a minute. Sorry about that. I just had to get my plug to my laptop so we don't have it shutting off on us. So I can remove her one brow already in about 30 seconds, but let me just see. There's some questions. There's a lot of questions. Woohoo, okay. I asked, and you still have to buy another one. Okay, so somebody else already asked that. Yeah, unfortunately, sorry. That's what the rules were. Why is that blurry? Oh. There we go. Okay, health units here require mascara brush. Yep, they have to be disposable, but if this is plastic, if you let them know, because the disposable mascara ones are not plastic, they're not silicone. They are a material that's very porous. So that's why they're single use. So you can ask them, you can show them, you can tell them it's a silicone, just like our silicone pads. You can reuse them because you're cleaning them with the RTU. Let them know. If not, just buy the bulk ones and toss them out after each use, but just make sure you're not brushing very hard with them. This is how they are bulky and they worry solutions don't reach all the way in the brush. How has RefectoCil ensured the brushes can be reused after proper cleaning? There's no copies of testings. Like I said, these are coming directly from Austria, and Austria regulations can be different. In Europe, they're different than here. So you would need a brush, a scrubber, and in the sink with soap and water, you would scrub that silicone. You can see that silicone is like you can see in it and you can be able to clean it. So scrub it with soap and water and then rinse it, and then you can use your disinfectant. So if the health inspector doesn't still like that, then you gotta go according to what your region says, and you have to use disposable ones then, right? I just spoke with the girl at the front desk. Apparently you have to spend, where's the report? Okay, there you go. So how do I know the color to use? I try to match it close to I'm gonna remove it now. I try to match it close to her hair color. She does have a darker brown, and then I add the graphite for a little bit of a cooler look. So if they are warm undertone, then the brown would look a little bit more reddish, and we didn't want that. So I'm still removing it with a dry Q-tip. And after I did that with a dry Q-tip, I can take my water. Because if there's excess tint and you use water, it could seep into the eye, and we don't want that. So I just take water, and it takes, and be gentle. I'm gonna try and follow the hair still. And I was pretty clean at the tinting, but try and use the protection cream so that you don't have too much unnecessary staining. Perfect. So now I can move the other side. And now I could do the water. And once again, I'm pretty gentle even when I'm wiping. I don't want to be too abrasive. So your color, like I mentioned before, your browns are what you're going to use the most on brows. But if they were not a warm tone, like if their hair didn't have any warm tone in it, but their body is a warm tone, then you got to use a graphite to cool down your colors. If you want to add warmth, you could use a chestnut, or you could use the red to add to your other colors to add warmth. So that's how you know how to mix. And also your timing. If the brows are really, really light, your timing will be less as well, because you don't want to make them too dark. And that's what happens with many with the light brown. They leave it on too long, and then it's too dark for the customer. So always have a tint remover for that reason, to be able to soften it. I'm just going to remove this hair before I put there we go, before I put the styling gel. So I'm going to end it with the styling gel, and I do have a disposable mascara wand for this because I don't want to double dip. So we have our styling gel. I love this product. I use it even when I want to fill in my brows, like if I'm using a pencil or a gel. I like to use this to prep them before and to put them into place. So I love this, and it hydrates and it protects. Even for people who their tinting won't last as long, they could use this as at home every morning to help prolong, to help it last longer, the tint. So now, right now, we're hydrating them, we're protecting them, we're moisturizing them, and they can do the same every morning with this. There we go. So that is the finishing touch. And if you can remember from before, they weren't this thick. If you remember from before. Okay, I could do a little bit of a cleanup of the tint there. We get a little bit OCD. No, we can see I can just do a little bit of a cleanup there. But yep, that's it. Simple and easy, and nice thick brows on somebody who would never have thought their brows can look like this. Okay, so what I can do now is I can answer some more questions for the next 5 minutes. What I'll do is I can switch back the camera so that our model can get back to work. So give me 1 second. I'm going to switch back the cameras, okay? Okay, one more. Open your eyes too, so I can do the whole full. Okay, you're good. Thank you. Yeah, okay, so. Okay. Yeah, looks good from here. Thanks, Rula. Thanks. Okay, you're welcome. Okay, so let me see some of these questions that were being asked. Whew. It does almost look like a microbladed, but it's so natural, right? Wow, already like what I see. Oh, perfect. Okay, let's just see all the questions before I see your wonderful comments. Okay, 1 second. So was I able to answer your question about Lindsay? I think it was Lindsay. How do you know the color to use? And then Tamara, it does make sense since the course is free. The product is only good for 2 months once open. So this extra product will be worth it. It will be. Thank you. Yes, it will be, Tamara. Can you explain the centimeter measurement for the tint? So it's 2 centimeters of tint to 10 drops of the liquid oxidant or 15 drops of the cream oxidant. And in those little pallets, they're really fun. I haven't cleaned it yet, so it's gonna look dirty. But we have the ring, not the ring one, the one that goes right here on your hand, because I like to be hands-free. I can hold the brow nice and taut. I can work the lashes, you know, easily. And then we have the ring as well. I like the black one. So inside there's a line that says 2 centimeters. So that helps you to get the right ratios. But otherwise I can do it blindly, but this has helped a lot of people because if you don't have the right ratio, you don't get the right mixture, then you might not get the longevity of it to last how long it should last. Okay, so depending on what oxidant you're using, it's 10 drops of the liquid, 15 drops of the cream to 2 centimeters of the tint. Was that okay for everybody that asked for the tint? Restocking product, if people are going to restock everything in their kit, it's going to cost a lot more than what the kit cost. So your kit is a cheaper way to go. When you start buying everything open stock, like if they had to touch up on their glues, all 4 solutions, like all 2 sets, that's more than what the kit's going to be. So we always say, even at trade shows, buy the kit. It has everything in it. It's a little bit cheaper than buying it open stock. So this is how the training was, that you have to buy the kit to be able to do the training. So if you don't want to buy the kit, it would have to be $150 worth of RefectoCil products in order to get your certificate. Okay, so basically your course includes those products, your certificate, and this free online education. Okay, would you rather pay $150 for this training instead? Well, I understand everybody's point of view. I just don't want to make it an issue here. It's just that's what it was originally if you want to do this training. So hopefully everybody understands the fee. Even if you already had a kit, another kit, you know, it's extra stock. It's doesn't go bad if you haven't opened it until 2022, your solutions. So at the end, you're not really losing out. You pick up on more of these services. Brow lamination is going to boom in your salon or spa. You're going to be going through those products pretty quick. Okay. Yeah, you do have to pay for courses, and I've seen some people charge $1,200 for a brow lamination course, and I find that extremely ridiculous. I was told that every time I do classes, when we were doing in-house classes, I've had people redo a lash lift training and tell me, like, with a different brand. So they come to RefectoCil, they did maybe a Yumi lash or whatever, and they come and they tell me that they learned much more, that I spent much more time explaining things and in depth and even more than what this $1,200 class cost, and all they had to pay was like $300. So it shows that, for me, I don't like charging such extravagant pricing unless it's a Kim Kardashian doing the training for you guys. Then I could see it being charged a lot. I know I have a passion for RefectoCil. I even taught globally for the manufacturer, so I understand the value of teaching, but I don't go crazy with the fees. Okay. So let's see. Okay, let's look at the wonderful results. So you really liked what you saw. Erica, you're obsessed with the outcome. Isn't it amazing? Like, her brows were so thin. And when she stood across the room there and I looked at her, I could see her brows. And you know, when you see brows, you see how nice it frames the face. When you don't see brows, it doesn't frame properly, and you see a lot of forehead. So it looked beautiful, and the color matched exactly to her hair. So it was really nice. They look fuller. Exactly. Can the light brown color look okay? Yep, you can use light brown as well. It's just that her hair color was much darker. So I didn't want to leave the light brown, because then I would have to leave it much longer. And I don't want to, and it has to be only 3 minutes. So choosing the right color too is very important for the timing, because it's only 3 minutes we allowed on. But if it was a client that had lighter hair or lighter brows, then I could use a light brown and mix it with graphite a little bit. Okay. The 3.1 is the light brown. I used 3. Can you use regular brow gel after? Depending on what's in that brow gel. If there's a lot of oils in it, wait 24 hours later. Wait till everything seals and wait. I haven't really asked manufacturer for this, but I would be okay. I think it would be okay. Just, I don't know what the ingredients are in it. So wait 24 hours just to be on the safe side. Okay. How do they wash off the styling gel without weakening the perm? You don't wash off the styling gel. The styling gel just penetrates into the hair, and at the end, you don't feel it, you don't see it. It just gives a nice shine to the hair, but it penetrates into the hair and it protects it. If they go into the shower and they just wipe a little bit with the water, they're good. There's nothing in it that stains or does anything harm, and it just it evaporates, or it goes into the hair inside to help it. Okay, but just water is fine. Styling gel is available for guests to purchase. Like, you mean for your clients to purchase it? So it is a retail product. So you can go to Intercosmetic and buy a box of it and put it on you're going to do like about a 40% margin what's the word called? Cost. So instead of it being, I can't remember how much, it would come out to being about $40 to your client. Okay, because I think you probably spend maybe about 20 something on it. So markup cost. So it'd be about 40% markup cost. Okay. Hopefully that answered the question. Francesca? Sorry, can't see the names properly. Yeah, okay, so it is for retail use. Not all the products for RefectoCil are retail use, but the aftercare, the care balm, the styling gel, and the brow booster, these are all sold to your clients. So hopefully this, because it's been an hour and a half. That's how long the webinar was. So hopefully I was able to answer all your questions. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I hope you did. I'm going to put back this presentation for you guys so you can see my information once again. Will you be doing more webinars? I really like this. Oh, thank you. Oh, wait, there's more questions happening at the top. Hold on, I'm gonna try to answer everybody. They're beautiful, very nice. Can we see the model sitting up? Oh, you want to see her back sitting up? Okay, I'm gonna call her in. If whoever wants to wait, I'll call her in. If I'm placing an order with Intercosmetic this week or next week, do I mention I've done the webinar to get the certificate? How do I get? So yes, just let them know. I would say call them after today and tell them I'm going to make a $150 purchase. Maybe just not on the kit, but on all the other RefectoCil stuff. And then they will mark it on the paper that they have to give me to issue out the certificates. So just call them and let them know. Don't let it delay so that they can write it on their sheet and know that you're going to be making a purchase. Okay. If I purchase a lash perm instead of a lash lift, does that count? Yep. It can be a curl kit. I think you might have to buy something extra because it is $150 and the curl kit is only it's under $150. So you'll have to buy something in between there, maybe an extra set of solutions. Doesn't hurt, because with brows you're using a lot more solution, and if you keep them sealed and closed in a nice cool place, they're going until 2022 if you don't open them. So maybe that would be something you would buy to make the $150. Okay. It mentions 2 months. Yes, 2 months for the solutions, 3 months for the glue, if you're doing lash lift or lash curl. Will I be doing more webinars? I try to do every month our CBON ones. So we just had one in September on brow lamination, but you had your little private one here because the webinars that I do, we don't issue a certificate. So it's really nice to do this one and get a certificate and, put it up. I know it's really credentials, especially times that we're dealing with right now. People trust you. You've done your training. You know how to take care of their eye area. So it's really good that you did this class, but I do a lot of them, and you can watch a lot of the past ones on RefectoCilEducation.com. You can watch. And tag me, tag RefectoCil, but tag myself as well, Barista. I love to engage with everybody. I try my best. It does get overwhelming, but I do love engaging with all of you guys, talking with you guys, conversing over social media, watching your befores and after, be able to like your befores and afters, like tag us. I like that interaction, and I like to give shout outs as well. Okay. I really like this. I have a different product for lash lift, but look forward to changing. Try it. Try the lash lift too. If you haven't tried the lash lift with our kit, it comes like this. If you haven't tried the lash lift, try it, because now it'll be dual for the brow as well. And you can get both two services done on a client, right, in one seating, and charge a really good package price, right? So try it and see the transition. With the glue though, there are some tips and tricks that you should know. And that you could always reach out to me at education@cbongroup.com, and I can help you with that, with the glues. We are having a new glue that came out. So if you, in your kits, you still have the older glue, so I can let you know how to use that one, and then the new glue when it's open stock. Okay. Would I have access to the lash lift training? You can watch it on RefectoCilEducation.com, the one that we did last month, for sure. During the tint, you mentioned only 8 drops of liquid. Is that just because the hair? It's because I didn't use 2 centimeters. I just used 1 centimeter, because even with 1 centimeter, I still have some product left in here. I hate wastage. So I docked it down to 1 centimeter instead of 2, because she didn't have a lot of hair to work with. My brows too, I only do 1 centimeter. They look pretty thick now. It's because I laminated them and I filled them in with a little bit of powder. So you don't want to have waste. So that's why I cut it down to 1 centimeter. If it's 1 centimeter, then it's 8 drops, because half of 15 is 7.5, but I can't really do 7.5, so I do 8. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Sanda. Thank you. Hopefully I was able to, Erica. Thank you, everyone. And Ashley and Tamara. Thank you for your support as well coming into these webinars. And like I mentioned, I'm always here to try my best to help everybody. So follow me if you like on Barista by RefectoCil, and follow our RefectoCil North America. I take care of both accounts. And also message me. If there's anything you need help on, message me and I will email me and I will be able to help everybody. Okay. I appreciate all the wonderful words and I appreciate that everybody was able to come today. What's the window to buy the products? Like how much time do you have to buy them? You mean for this training? You'd have to ask Enter Cosmetics. I don't know what the window time is, but if you're able to call them after this, training, that would be awesome. It's fresh in their minds and you can get the answer right away. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I can't wait for you guys to start doing them and I can't wait for you guys to start sharing them on Instagram if you wish to and tagging us because I love to see the results. I love to see the wonderful works everybody does. Yes. So on that note, once again, I do appreciate you guys being here, taking the time to, I know work has resumed, work can pick up again, but also stay safe, stay healthy, be mindful. Our cases are rising, so just be mindful. And also when you're treating your clients, be properly equipped with your PPE. If you have to wear a shield, if they can't wear a mask, if you're doing a facial and you're adding on a brow lamination, wear your mask and your shield and your gloves. But yes, I wish everyone the best in their salon and spa. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate everybody's thank yous. So with this, I'm going to end it and enjoy the rest of your day and let's keep in touch. Okay. Thank you so much and have a wonderful afternoon and a wonderful rest of your week. Oh, perfect. You did it? Sure. Okay. I'm going to shut off now because my thing is going to end and I don't want to shut in between, but share it. Share it. Okay. Thank you. Bye.